Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. All of you out there in cyberspace, you may not be able to view live because of timings difference, because we're here in India. And also I've gotten a report that sometimes the videos are a little live when you hear them, when you view them live, it's a little bit, sometimes there's some gaps or stops and starts. But I've also heard, I just got a nice message from Vilas Manjari in Australia that when you actually listen to the recorded version, it's all there. There's no gaps, there's no starts and stops. So be patient and listen to it on the recorded version afterwards if you want, if you have time. And that may help you to relish. Because that's what we're all about. We want to relish hearing about Krishna. The more we develop a taste for being with Krishna, for hearing about Krishna, then the more we become advanced in spiritual life. And in fact, it's the goal of spiritual life. And there's no better way to reach the goal of life than to regularly and systematically and seriously hear about Krishna directly from his instructions or about his personality and pastimes and name and form and entourage from the Srimad-Bhagavatam, from all the great souls. So here we go. Sanatana Goswami composed a prayer glorifying Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's called Srimad-Bhagavata Mahima Stotram. Those of you who are regulars already know this, but I always repeat it because sometimes people don't know. Sanatana Goswami wrote a book called Sri Krishna Lila Stava, and his idea was to offer 108 obeisances to the pastimes, the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. Sri Krishna Lila Stava. It's written in very simple vocative Sanskrit. And the 107th obeisances in the book is this Srimad Bhagavata Mahima Stotram. 5 verses, texts 412 through 416, just in case you want to look it up in the book. It's the most beautiful glorification of Bhagavatam I've ever heard. It came just after Sanatana Goswami was directly instructed by Lord Chaitanya for 2 straight months. That's more time than Lord Chaitanya spent instructing anyone on the earth. So that's how special Sanatana Goswami is. Rupa Goswami, we're Rupanugas, he's our head of our, we're following him, but he considered Sanatana Goswami, his elder brother, his guru. So, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahima Stotram. Listen carefully, meditate on these prayers, and they will help you go deeper. It goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satpala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Lokaika Drik Prada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kalidwanduditaditya, Shri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master, Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Manistadaga mad bhagya mad ananda namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin atini chochata kada hanamun chakadachin mam prem narit kantayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we're in the middle of the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. So that's very appropriate that we're saying that prayer by Sanatana Goswami. We've reached the 36th chapter of the 10th canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, the slaying of Arista, the bull demon. This chapter describes how Krishna killed Aristasura and how Kamsa reacted when he learned from Narada that Krishna and Balaram were the sons of Vasudeva. The demon Arista wanted to kill Krishna and Balaram, and thus he assumed the form of a huge bull with sharp horns. Everyone in Krishna's cowherd village became terrified when Aristasura approached it. But the Lord pacified them, and when the bull demon charged him, he seized him by the horns and threw him about 6 yards. Though weakened, Arista still wanted to attack Krishna. Thus, dripping with sweat, he charged the Lord once again. This time Krishna grabbed his horns, threw him to the ground, and thrashed him like a pile of wet clothing. The demon vomited blood and gave up his life. Then Krishna and Rama, while being honored by the demigods, and the cowherd boys returned to the village. A short time later, Narada Muni, the great sage among the demigods, came to see King Kamsa. He informed the king that Krishna and Balaram were not Nanda's sons, but rather Vasudeva's. It was out of fear of Kamsa that Vasudeva had put the 2 boys under Nanda's care. Furthermore, said Narada, Kamsa would meet his death at their hands. Kamsa shook with fear and anger when he heard all this, and in great agitation he began thinking how to destroy Krishna and Balaram. He called for the demons Chanura and Mushtika and instructed them to kill the 2 brothers in a wrestling match. Then he spoke to Akrura, who was expert at executing his duties. Taking Akrura by the hand, Kamsa persuaded him to go to Braj and bring the 2 boys to Mathura. Akrura agreed to carry out Kamsa's order and then returned home. Text 1. Text 1. Shukadev Goswami said, the demon Arista then came to the cowherd village. Appearing in the form of a bull with a large hump, he made the earth tremble as he tore it apart with his hooves. Purport. According to the Sri Vishnu Purana, Arista entered Krishna's village at twilight as the Lord prepared to dance with the gopis. Pradusharde kadachit tu rasasakte janardane trasayan samado goshtam arishtak sampagata. Once midway through the period of dusk, when Lord Janardana was eager to perform the rasa dance, Aristashvara madly entered the cowherd village, terrifying everyone. Text 2. Aristashvara bellowed very harshly and pawed the ground. With his tail raised and his eyes glaring, he began to tear up the embankments with the tips of his horns, every now and then passing a little stool and urine. Text 3 and 4. My dear king, clouds hovered about the sharp-horned Aristashvara's hump, mistaking it for a mountain. And when the cowherd men and ladies caught sight of the demon, they were struck with terror. Indeed, the strident reverberation of his roar so frightened the pregnant cows and women that they lost their fetuses in miscarriages. Purport. The Vedic literature categorizes miscarriages as follows. Chatur had bhavet shavapata panchama shashtayo ata urdvam prasuti syat. Up to the 4th month, a premature delivery is called shava. In the 5th and 6th months, it is called pata, and after this, it is considered a birth, prasuti. Text 5. The domestic animals fled the pasture in fear, O king, and all the inhabitants rushed to Lord Govinda for shelter, crying, Krishna, Krishna. Text 6. When the Supreme Lord saw the cowherd community distraught and fleeing in fear, he calmed them, saying, don't be afraid. Then he called out to the bull demon as follows. You fool! What do you think you're doing, you wicked rascal, frightening the cowherd community and their animals, when I am here just to punish corrupt miscreants like you? Text 8. Having spoken these words, the infallible Lord Hari slapped his arms with his palms, further angering Arista with the loud sound. The Lord then casually threw his mighty serpentine arm over the shoulder of a friend and stood facing the demon. Purport. Lord Krishna showed his contempt for the ignorant demon. There's a very nice purport, or a very nice comment. One of the acharyas, when Krishna goes in, Krishna and Balaram go into Mathura finally, and they enter the wrestling arena. They're carrying the tusks of Kulavyapita in their hands, and they walk right into the front of the dais, and they put them in the ground and look at Kamsa, just winding him up as much as possible. So here Krishna's just putting his arm over his friend's shoulder and looking at him. Like, you know, what kind of big bull are you? Winding him up. Text 9. Thus provoked, Arista pawed the ground with one of his hooves, and then with the clouds hovering around his upraised tail, furiously charged Krishna. Text 10. Pointing the tips of his horns straight ahead and glaring menacingly at Lord Krishna from the corners of his bloodshot eyes, Arista rushed toward him at full speed like a thunderbolt hurled by Indra. 11. The Supreme Lord Krishna seized Aristasura by the horns and threw him back 18 steps, just as an elephant might do when fighting a rival elephant. 12. Thus repulsed by the Supreme Lord, the bull demon got up and, breathing hard and sweating all over his body, again charged him in a mindless rage. 13. As Arista attacked, Lord Krishna seized him by the horns and to the ground with his foot. The Lord then threw as if he were a wet cloth. And finally he yanked out one of the demon's horns and struck him with it until he lay prostrate. Creative, eh? Text 14. Vomiting blood and profusely excreting stool and urine, kicking his legs and rolling his eyes about, Aristasura thus went painfully to the abode of death. The demigods honored Lord Krishna by scattering flowers upon him. 15. Having thus killed the bull Arista, he who is a festival for the gopis' eyes entered the cowherd village with Balaram. Purport. This verse exemplifies the sublime contrast of spiritual qualities within Krishna, within Sri Krishna. In one four-line verse, we simultaneously learn that Lord Krishna killed a powerful and wicked demon, and that his boyish beauty gave festive pleasure to his young girlfriends. Lord Krishna is as hard as a thunderbolt, or as soft as a rose, depending on our attitude toward him. The demon Arista wanted to kill Krishna and all his friends, so the Lord beat him into a wet rag and killed him. The gopis, however, loved Krishna, and thus the Lord boyishly reciprocated their conjugal feelings. 16. After Aristasura had been killed by Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Narada Muni went to speak to King Kamsa. That powerful sage of godly vision addressed the king as follows. Purport. The term Devadarshana can be understood in many ways, all of which are consistent with the context and purport of this narration. Deva means God, and Darshana means seeing, or an audience with a great personality. Thus, Devadarshana, a name for Narada Muni, indicates that Narada had attained the perfection of seeing God, that getting Narada's audience is as good as getting God's, since Narada is a pure representative of the Lord, and also that Narada's audience is as good as that of the demigods, who are also known as Devas. That there are all these meanings of the term Devadarshana reveals something of the richness of the Srimad-Bhagavatam's language. From the Puranas, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has quoted 20 verses describing a joking conversation between Radha and Krishna that took place after Krishna had killed the demon Arista. This conversation, so kindly quoted by the Acharya, describes the origin of Radha Kund and Shama Kund, Radha's and Krishna's bathing ponds. The verses are as follows. Ma san sprishadya vishabar danahanta mugda godo surayam ayi Krishna tadapyayam gao brito yata dvija ihas jayi nishkritis kim shudyet bhavangs tribhavana stitatirtha kristrad. The innocent young gopi said, "Ah, Krishna, don't touch us now, O killer of a bull." Alas, even though Arista was a terrible demon, still he was a male cow, so you will have to undergo atonement, just as Lord Indra did after killing Vritrasura. But how can you purify yourself without going to the trouble of visiting every single holy place in the three worlds? Kim paryatami bhuvanan yadunaiva sarva aniyatirtha pitati karavani tasu snanan bilokayatavat snanam bilokayatata vadidam mukunda prochaiva tatra kritavan patapashnigatam. Krishna replied, "Why should I have to wander throughout the universe the entire universe. I will at once bring all the countless pilgrimage places here and take my bath in them. Just watch. With this, Lord Mukunda struck his heel on the ground. Patalato jalamidam kila bogabatya ayatamatra nikila apitirtha sangaha agachyate bhagavad bachasad sa itya tatraiva rajar ati Krishna uvacha gopihi. Then he said, this is the water of the Bhagavati river coming from the Patala region. And now, O holy places, all of you, please come here. When the Supreme Lord had spoken these words, all the holy places went there and appeared before him. Krishna then addressed the gopis as follows. Tirthani pashyata hadir bachasata taivam naiva pratima itata atatirtha bharyaha prochu kritanjali puta lavanad bir asmi chirad bir asmi shutatam maradir gikasmi. See all the holy places? But the gopis replied, we don't see them as you describe. Then those best of holy places, joining their palms in supplication, spoke up. I am the salt ocean. I am the ocean of milk. I am Amara Dirgika. Shono Pisindur Anamas Nibabhami Tamra Parni Chapushkaramaham Saraswati Cha Godarvadi Rabasuta Sadayu Prayago Revangsi Pashyata Jalam Kuruta Priti Tum. I am the river Shona. I am the Sindhu. I am the Tamraparni. I am the holy place Pushkar. I am the river Saraswati. And we are the Godavari, Yamuna, and Reva rivers, and the confluence of rivers at Prayag. Just see our waters. Snatvatato harirati prajagalba eva shudashado pikaraban stitatabatirtam yushmadbir atmajanusi hakrito nadarma kopi chitau ataka shakir nijagadarata. After purifying himself by bathing, Lord Hari became quite arrogant and said, I have produced a pond containing all the various holy places, whereas you gopis must never have executed any religious duties on this earth for the pleasure of Lord Brahma. Then Srimati Radharani addressed her girlfriends as follows. Karyam mayap yatimano hadakunda mekam tasmadya tadvam ititad pachanina tabihi Shri Krishna kunda tatapaschima dishamando gartakrito vishabadaitya kurayra miloki. I must create an even more beautiful pond, so go to work. Having heard these words, the gopis saw that Aristasura's hooves had dug a shallow ditch just west of Sri Krishna's pond. Tatrardramrin mridula golatiti pratiswa hastodrita anati duragata bidhaya divyam sadat prakititam gatikadvayena tabir vilokya sadasam smarate sma Krishnaha. At that nearby spot, all the gopis began digging up lumps of soft mud with their hands. And in this way, a divine pond manifested in the short span of an hour. Lord Krishna was astonished to see the lake they produced. Proche chatirtha shalilai papipurya madkundatak sarijikak shisahali bistwam Radha tada nananadeti jagada jasmat twat kunda nidam udugo badapata kaktam. He said, go ahead, lotus-eyed one. You and your companions should fill this pond with water from mine. But Radha replied, no, 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 no. This is impossible, since the water of your pond is contaminated by your terrible sin of killing a cow. Aritya punya salilam chatakoti kumbai sakyud sakyard budena sahamana sajana vitaha etat sadak samaduna paripurya mami tinaiva kirti matulam tinavani loke. I will have my countless gopi companions bring the pure water of the Manasa Ganga here in billions of pots. In this way I will fill this lake with my own water and thus make its renown unequaled in the entire world. Krishnengitena sahasaitya samasta tirtha sakyastadiya sadasodrita divya murtihi tushtava tatra vishabhanu sutam pranamya bhaktya kritanjali putak shava astradaraha. Lord Krishna then gestured to a heavenly personality who was an intimate associate of all the holy places. Suddenly, that person rose up out of Krishna's pond and bowed down to the daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu, Radharani. Then, with palms joined and tears pouring from his eyes, he began praying to her in devotion. Devi Tudiya Mahimana Madvaita Avaita Sarva Shastrartavin Chadividir Nahado Nalakshmihi Kintveka Eva Purusharti Shiromanishtvat Prasveda Marjana Padak Sayameva Krishnaha. O goddess, even Lord Brahma himself, the knower of all scriptures, cannot understand your glories, nor can Lord Shiva or Lakshmi. Only Krishna, the supreme goal of all human endeavor, can understand them, and thus he is eager to personally wash away your perspiration when you are fatigued. Yascharya vakarasena bhavat padabjam arajanu purnamaho nidadati nityam prapya tudiya nayanam jatata prasadam swamanyate paramadanyadamam pravishyam tasyagya sahasa vayamajagama tat parshnigata kritakunda vadeva samaha tvam chet prasida sikadoshi kripa kataksham taryeva tarsha vitipi palito bhavennaha. He is always anointing your lotus feet with nectarian, charu, and yavaka, and decorating them with ankle bells, and he rejoices and feels most fortunate simply by satisfying the tips of the toes of your lotus feet. On his order, we have immediately come here to live in this most excellent pond, which he created by one stroke of his heel. But only if you now feel satisfied with us, and bestow upon us your merciful glance, will the tree of our desire bear fruit. Shutva stutim nikikaltirtaganasya tushta prahasmatarsham ayveda yateti radha yama tvadiya sadasim sapalabhavama ityeva novara iti prakatam tadochuhu. Hearing this prayer, spoken by the representative of the full assembly of holy places, Sri Radha was pleased and said, "So kindly, tell me your desire." They then told her plainly, "Our lives would be successful if we could come to your pond That is the benediction we desire. Achatiti Vishabhanu Sutasmitasya Agachateti Vishabhanu Sutasmitasya Provachakanta Vadanabja Trikakshikona Sakyopi Tatrakita Sammatayaksakabdao Magnabire Jurakilashtida Jangamascha. Glancing at her beloved from the corners of her eyes, the daughter of Vrishabhanu replied with a smile, "Please come." Her gopi companions all agreed with her decision and became immersed in an ocean of happiness. Indeed, the beauty of all creatures, both mobile and stationary, was enhanced. Prapya prasana matate Vrishabhanu Nujayaha Shri Krishna Kunda Katatirtha Vadak Prasaya Bit Veta Bitim Ativegata Eva Radha Kundam Vyadu Swasalilai Paripurna Meva. Thus, by gaining the grace of Srimati Radharani, the holy rivers and lakes in Shri Krishna Kund forcibly broke through its boundary walls and swiftly filled Radha Kund with their waters. Proche Hadi Priyatame Tavakunda Metan Matkundato Mihma Dikamastu Loke Atraiva Me Salila Keliri Haiva Nityam Snanam Yatatam Asantavad Idam Sarome. Lord Hari then said, "My dear Radha, may this pond of yours become even more world-renowned than mine. I will always come here to bathe and enjoy my water pastimes. Indeed, this lake is as dear to me as you are." Radha Bravid Ahamapi Sosaki Biretya Snasyam Yarishta Chatamurda Namastu Tasya Yo Rishta Mardana Sarasuru Bhaktiratra Snayad Vasen Saeva Mahapriyostu. Radha replied, "I will come to bathe in your pond as well, even though you may kill hundreds of Arista demons here. Picture anyone who has intense devotion for this lake, which is on the spot where you chastised Aristasura, and who bathes or resides here, is sure to become very dear to me." Rasotsavam prakrute smachatataratra Krishnam Buddha Kritamahara Harsha Varshaha Sri Radhika Pravada Vidyudalam Krita Shris Trilokya Madhya Bitati Krita Divya Kirtihi. That night, Lord Krishna initiated a rasa dance at Radhakund, generating a torrent of the greatest mood of splendorous pleasure. Sri Krishna resembled a cloud, and Srimati Radharani a brilliant flash of lightning filling the sky with abundant beauty. In this way, their divine glories permeated the expanses of the three worlds. As a final note, it should be mentioned that Narada Muni, being a great sage, understood that the killing of Arista more or less concluded the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. Therefore Narada, anxious to facilitate the transferal of Krishna's pastimes to Mathura, approached Kamsa and addressed him as follows. Text 17. Narada told Kamsa, Yashoda's child was actually a daughter, and Krishna is the son of Devaki. Also, Rama is the son of Rohini. Out of fear, Vasudeva entrusted Krishna and Balaram to his friend, Nanda Maharaj, and it is these two boys who have killed your men. Purport. Kamsa had been led to believe that Krishna was the son of Yashoda and that Devaki's 8th child had been a daughter. The identity of Devaki's child was extremely important to Kamsa because a prophecy had foretold that her 8th child would kill him. Here Narada informs the king excuse me. Here Narada informs the king that the 8th child of Devaki was a formidable Krishna, thus implying that the prophecy should be taken very seriously. Having received this information, Kamsa obviously will now do everything in his power to kill Krishna and Balaram. Upon hearing this, the master of the Bhojas became furious and lost control of his senses. He picked up a sharp sword to kill Vasudeva. 19. But Narada restrained Kamsa by reminding him that it was the 2 sons of Vasudeva who would cause his death. Kamsa then had Vasudeva and his wife shackled in iron chains. Purport. Kamsa realized that there was no use in killing Vasudeva, since it was Vasudeva's sons, Krishna and Balaram, who were to kill him. According to the Acharyas, Narada also advised Kamsa that if he killed Vasudeva, the 2 young boys might flee, and that it was therefore better not to kill him. Rather, Narada recommended Kamsa should bring Krishna and Balaram to Kamsa's capital city, Mathura. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that Narada did not act inimically toward the great devotees, Vasudeva and Devaki, when he revealed this information to Kamsa. In fact, as explained in the 11th canto, Vasudeva was grateful to Narada because he was arranging for Kamsa's death at Krishna's hands, and further arranging for Krishna to come and live in Mathura, where his loving father could associate with him. Text 20. After Narada left, King Kamsa summoned Keshi and ordered him, go kill Rama and Krishna. Purport. Before having Krishna and Balaram brought to Mathura, Krishna tried sending one more demon to Vrindavan. 21. The king of the Bhojas next called for his ministers, headed by Mushtika, Chanura, Shala, and Toshala, and also for his elephant keepers. The king addressed them as follows. My dear heroic Chanura and Mushtika, please hear this. Rama and Krishna, the sons of Anakudundabi, Vasudeva, are living in Nanda's cowherd village. It has been predicted that these 2 boys will be the cause of my death. When they are brought here, kill them on the pretext of engaging them in a wrestling match. 24. Erect a wrestling ring with many surrounding viewing stands and bring all the residents of the city and the outlying districts to see the open competition. Purport. The word manchaha refers to platforms constructed with large pillars. Kamsa wanted a festive atmosphere so that Krishna and Balaram would not be afraid to come. The demons, they can't, they're clueless. They can't estimate God's, intelligence. They think they're more intelligent. Amazing. Text 25. You, elephant keeper, my good man, should position the elephant Kuvalayapida at the entrance to the wrestling arena and have him kill my 2 enemies. 26. Commence the bow sacrifice on the Chaturdashi day in accordance with the relevant Vedic injunctions. In ritual slaughter, offer the appropriate kinds of animals to the magnanimous Lord Shiva. So you see, Vedavadarata in the Gita, Krishna calls the Vedavadarata the so-called followers of Vedic rituals. He's a Vedavadarata, Kamsa. He has no idea what the Vedas are or what their purpose is. So he's using the Vedic rituals to try to kill Krishna. Having thus commanded his ministers, Kamsa next called for Akrura, the most eminent of the Yadus. Kamsa knew the art of securing personal advantage, and thus he took Akrura's hand in his own and spoke to him as follows. 28. My dear Akrura, most charitable one, please do me a friendly favor out of respect. Among the Bhojas and Vrishnis, there is no one else as kind to us as you. 29. Gentle Akrura, you always carry out your duties soberly, and therefore I am depending on you. Just as powerful Indra took shelter of Lord Vishnu to achieve his goals. 30. Please go to Nanda's village, where the two sons of Anukudundubi are living, and without delay bring them here on this chariot. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti gives the following interesting note. When King Kamsa said, with this chariot, he pointed with his index finger to a brand new, attractive chariot. Kamsa thought that since Akrura was innocent by nature, when he saw this fine new vehicle, he would naturally want to drive it and quickly bring the two boys back. But the actual reason Akrura went on a new chariot was that it would have been clearly inappropriate for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to mount a chariot that had already been enjoyed by the wicked Kamsa. Text 31. The demigods who are under the protection of Vishnu have sent these two boys as my death. Bring them here, and also have Nanda and the other cowherd men come with gifts of tribute. 32. After you bring Krishna and Balaram, I will have killed them by my elephant, who is as powerful as death itself. And if by chance they escape from him, I will have them killed by my wrestlers, who are as strong as lightning. When these two have been killed, I will kill Vasudeva and all their lamenting relatives, the Vrishnis, Bhojas, and Dasharhas. Purport. Even today, there are wicked political leaders throughout the world who make such plans and even carry them out. 34. I will also kill my old father Ugrasena, who is greedy for my kingdom, and I will kill his brother Devaka with all my other enemies as well. What a rascal, huh? Then, my friend, this earth will be free of thorns. My elder relative Jarasandha and my dear friend Dvidvida are solid well-wishers of mine, as are Shambhara, Naraka, and Bana. I will use them all to kill off those kings who are allied with the demigods, and then I will rule the earth. 37. Now that you understand my intentions, please go at once and bring Krishna and Balaram to watch the bow sacrifice and see the opulence of the Yadus' capital. 38. Sri Akrura said, O king, you have expertly devised a process to free yourself of misfortune. Still, one should be equal in success and failure, since it is certainly destiny that produces the results of one's work. Hinting at what's going to happen. Text 39. An ordinary person is determined to act on his desires even when fate prevents their fulfillment. Therefore, he encounters both happiness and distress. Yet even though such is the case, I will execute your order. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that although what was said was courteous and encouraging, his meaning was far different. What he really meant was this: your plan is not fit to execute, yet I will carry it out, since you are the king and I am your subject. And in any case, you are about to die. Text 40. Shukadeva Goswami said, having thus instructed Akrura, King Kamsa dismissed his ministers and retired to his quarters. And Akrura returned home. Thus end the purports of the humble servant of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 36th chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, entitled The Slaying of Arista, the Bold Demon. Jai Shri Krishna, Narada Muni, Jai Ho, well done, reciprocating. Okay, so we've got almost an hour in. I think we'll stop the reading here now. We'll have reflections and discussions. We have this little microphone here. It's not as fancy as across the courtyard, but it'll do. This is an open mic. You know, sometimes they have open mics in different places so that people can say what they want to say. Okay, Indranuja is going to start it off. Go ahead. Be very careful. It's a little bit. Be careful.
I was just wondering if this text number 35 is possibly one of the shortest verses in the Bhagavatam. Tatais chaisha mahi mitra bhavitri nashta kantaka.
We'll get back to you on that. It may be. It may not be. I haven't seen a shorter one, but I can't say for sure. What else? There was a lot of really nectarian things going on here. Yes, Dermot.
Someone may wonder the Akrura knew about Kamsa's intention and served Kamsa. Well, yeah.
Well,
you are very sure that, okay, I'm an associate of Krishna and I know what's going to happen, then it doesn't matter whom you serve.
Well, it's not just that. It isn't. It's that, but it's something more. You know, this culture is different than our culture. We have a tendency to compare everything to our culture and the way people behave and the way we behave and the way we think. But in the Vedic culture, people did their duties. You know, even if they were unpalatable, even if they were, like for instance, Bhishma. You know, he was brahmachari. And he was maintained by Duryodhana, and Dhritarashtra. Therefore, he had to fight on their side. It was his duty to do that, even though he loved Krishna. You know, and indirectly, the way it all played out was that when Krishna had to break his promise, you know, out of love for Bhishma, Krishna broke his promise, you know, and took up the chariot to kill Bhishma. And Bhishma dropped his weapon and said, okay, this is it. You know? And and then end up, and Bhishma ended up on a bed of arrows for at least 2-3 weeks, at least, maybe even more. I mean, he was the first big one to be, big leader to be killed. He was the first one. And it lasted 18 days, so that's almost 3 weeks. And then it took time for Yudhishthira to be convinced, or anyway, took time. So Akrura is the subject of Kamsa. He's the king. Of course, that's just external, but that external principle, law, rule, was used in this case in Krishna service. And then what will happen is when Akrura takes Krishna and Balaram away, then the gopis curse him. And because of that, he has to get involved in that whole thing about Samantaka Jewel and the killing of Satyajit, by Sharadanya and all of that. So it's not all just, beds of roses and, flowers from the sky and, even in Krishna's pastimes, it's like all of the different emotions, all of the different, experiences that one can have, they're all there in these pastimes to satisfy everyone on every level. And it was all, what was it? We heard it was like choreographed by Narada Muni, Narada Muni, spilled the beans, to Kamsa. And he just wanted Krishna to come sooner possible, And Akrura, he also knew that. He knew that means if I bring Krishna and Balaram there, then they'll be able to come and live with us. And that's fantastic. So all these things are going on at the same time. Hare Krishna. I'll tell you one little story because, maybe I'll wait until tomorrow. There's a far out story from the Puranas. Oh, I'll start it and I'll finish it tomorrow. Because Kamsa found out who was killing all his servants from Narada at this point. And now he knows what Krishna and Balaram look like. So when he sends Keshi, he actually sends him specifically to kill, Krishna and Balaram, and tells him what Krishna looks like. And there's a far out pastime because Madhumangal, who's the funny Brahmana friend of Krishna, cowherd boy, he loves sweets, like big time. And he went to Krishna just at this time, just before Keshi came. He went to Krishna and he said, "Would you mind if I borrowed your clothes?" And Krishna said, What do you need my clothes for? He said, "Well, I'm going to go door to door begging for sweets. And if I dress up like you, everybody loves you so much, I'm sure I'm going to get the most possible sweets I can get." So Krishna just laughed. He said, "Okay, go ahead." And then when Keshi came, he came to one street, and there's Madhumangal dressed in Krishna's clothes, going door to door to get sweets. And he goes, "Oh, there he is." And he goes, and he's going to go. And then Krishna realizes he's in the house, and and then he says, "Mama, I got to go." And "You're not going anywhere. Look at this demon out there. You can see." He was so big, Keshi, that you could see him over the houses. He was a huge, huge horse. So then, just as Keshi was going to barrel it down on Madhumangal, Krishna comes and, kind of pushes, Madhumangal out of the way and, "Okay, you got the real one now. Go ahead." Then the next chapter happens.
When Radharani gets angry about the killing of the bull demon, is it 50% humor and 50% she's serious about the sinful activity?
I'm not capable of speculating about Radharani's mind. 50% this and 50% that. These are all pastime arrangements in order to increase the ecstasies. So this calculating by percentage is not recommended in trying to understand Krishna's pastimes. You can't speculate on the minds of these personalities. And we can hear from the acharyas, they say that this wonderful exchange that we just heard from Radha and Krishna, about Radha Kund and Shama Kund, that was right out of the acharyas' commentaries, and it was wonderful. And what a nice translation. I'm going to bring this up, and I want to say this, that the translations of these purports, the verses and the purports, and especially these verses that told the story of Radha Kund and Shama Kund, they are so expertly done. Anybody with an honest and reasonable heart, when they hear them, they will just be in ecstasy. And there are, devotees who turn around right when it gets to the point where Prabhupada stopped his translation and commentary, and they go back to the beginning because he didn't do it. So it goes back to the point of what I was saying in the beginning, that the quality of this work is so wonderful. I mean, you may complain because maybe there would have been more in the whatever, but that's just mental. That's just mental. What's there is completely ecstatic. Plus, Prabhupada wanted, it's Prabhupada's book. It's Prabhupada's magnum opus. It's his chief work, greatest work of his life. This is the antidote to, conspiracy theories and issues that cause devotees to lose faith or reduce faith, or we should accept those things that increase our faith, that increase our, that make us feel better about Krishna, and things that are like that will put us on some kind of analytical platform, then we should reject that. And then we can gradually, by hearing from our acharyas, we can understand more and more. And then by Krishna's grace, maybe we can understand kind of, someday by Krishna's grace, maybe we'll understand more. It's all revelatory. There's revelation. This knowledge is all by revelation. It's not anybody figures something out about these things. Anything else? Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you so much, everybody out there in cyberspace. It's so nice from my side. I'm just so happy to be back with you and going through the Bhagavatam like this every single day. And I look forward to more and more. So until tomorrow night at the same time, and just a warning, another announcement, public service announcement, on the 13th, which is day after tomorrow, I won't read on that one day because I have to go up to Delhi and I have to get some tests done and then send the results to a specialist in UK who may be able to help me with certain issues health-wise. So I'll be one day that I won't be reading while we're here the rest of the time in Govardhan. All right? Thanks, everyone. All glories to Srimad-Bhagavatam. All glories to Sri Krishna. All glories to Srimati Radharani. All glories to Narada Muni. All glories to the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. Gaur Premanandi. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place.